What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, continuing my deep dive into Bruce Springsteen's live catalog. I'm going to discuss today's album, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, live in New York. Going to review it, going to rant about it, not going to play music from it. Then I'm going to rank it amongst the other two I've already done. This is material that was recorded at two shows in 2000 in New York City, released in 2001, but early 2001, prior to 9/11. I think that's important. This wasn't Bruce Springsteen capitalizing on the love for New York City that came out of a horrible tragedy. This was him celebrating New York City prior to that, though there is a song on here in which he attacks the New York Police Department. Not really, but kind of. And there was American Skin, 41 shots about Amadou Diallo, and he was holding a wallet and was shot 41 times. So Bruce has a protest song, and apparently the NYPD, I think at the time, wanted to boycott the shows, and there was anger. Or maybe it was after this, because the song had not been released for a while, but he had started performing it live after the Amadou Diallo killing, and then there was calls to protest, I believe, Bruce at some point. But yeah, that's the kind of world we live here in the States. So interesting to celebrate New York while at the same time being critical of New York. So it's what real, honest people do. But anyways, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. 2 CDs. There is a DVD performance, a video. I think the DVD came first, and then the CD was like, oh, we're going to do a DVD. We got to release a CD. Slightly different set list. I believe there's more songs on the DVD. If I have a complaint about this, and I do, it's the set list integrity is sometimes not respected. I think that does affect the flow of disc number 2. There are songs that are just songs that would be an encore or moved up, songs that were in the middle of the main set or moved back. I understand you have to do things like that to make music fit onto CDs, but sometimes I wish more of an effort would be made to there's a flow to shows, and artists like Bruce Springsteen, artists who don't do the same set every night. They might do the bulk. 75% of the material might be the same every night, but that other 25%, they're mixing it up, and those mix-up make for different experiences and give shows different flows. I've seen enough shows. I've heard enough Bruce shows to know this is true. So anytime you mess with the integrity of a set list, I feel you undermine the success of the music. And I do think disc 2 is a little bit hurt by that. But apart from that, my complaints are, this is a great listen. There are some absolutely essential performances on here that if you're a Springsteen fan, I think you kind of got to hear. There's some good stuff. Opens up with My Love Will Not Let You Down, which was on Tracks, Born in the USA outtake that never made it on there. Interesting, this was actually the second song performed of the night, I think at the second show. The first song, both nights, was another unreleased track, Code of Silence, which is not on here, but it was the first song both nights. And the second song, which was different, My Love Will Not Let You Down, what's the second song, opens up the CD. The second song on the first night was Don't Look Back, another Tracks number, a Darkness outtake that is fantastic. But for some reason, that's buried at the end of the second disc. I think it would have been really cool to maybe have one of those, have those back-to-back open up instead of Code of Silence. But My Love Will Not Let You Down opens up. It's a nice solid rocker. We get a nice 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, the 1, 2, 3, 4 comes at the end of it. They play it. It's a nice little short, solid rocker. Good opener for the CD, though it's the second song in the real show. And then as we get to the end of it, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4. We go into Prove It All Night. Awesome. Awesome opener. To slide into Prove It All Night is fantastic. It sounds great. The guitar solo sounds great. The guitar energy sounds great. Nice back and forth with, I think, Steven and Bruce and the vocals. Nice, solid performance. Good start to the CD. Then we get Two Hearts, which is really good energy. I think we get a Marvin Gaye, It Takes Two little quote in here. And they kind of slow it down, and Steven and Bruce start singing that at the end of it. But nice, high energy, good placement of this song. Atlantic City is next. Very interesting version of Atlantic City. It starts with this just kind of slow, steady drum beat. You're not really sure what's going to happen. And then Bruce starts singing the lyrics, and the crowd goes crazy. And you're like, oh, this is really cool. This is a nice arrangement of this. But as the song goes on, like they throw in some mandolin, and I don't think the mandolin works at all. It almost takes on this like Irish lilt in the middle, and I don't think that vibe works at all. So while I like the fact that they're doing something different with this song, there's also like they go off at the end, this meet me sort of back and forth vocal thing. It becomes a little more of this rock and roll set piece than it does this really intense, depressing song that has this great energy and great drive. So while I respect what they're doing to Atlantic City, I kind of wish it was simpler. Mansion on the Hill is next, and that is simpler, kind of a pedal steel, low key country vibe that absolutely works. Stays pretty chill for the duration of it, maintains that sort of desolate, aching, I want to be more comfortable in life vibe that the original has. Ends with a little Patty Bruce going at it, but in an appropriate way and not like this weird set piece way. I will say this about Bruce. He is one of those artists, kind of like My Morning Jacket, where almost every song could close a set, whether it's a high energy song or a low tempo song, just because he puts everything into every song. So it's sometimes in like Atlantic City, you're like, nah, just let that be a song. Doesn't need to be the end all be all. So Mansion on the Hill. But then we get The River. And The River, absolutely fantastic. Opens up with this about a minute and a half of Clarence going off on this long, lonely, desolate, aching sax solo. Not even a solo. It's just like notes that are just out there creating a vibe. Then the pianos kind of softly come in. Then the harmonica comes in. Finally, about 3 minutes into it, Bruce starts singing the song. The band kind of comes in, but it stays gentle. It stays calm. We get the haunting harmonica throughout the song. At the end, we go back to that haunting sax as we kind of like start, and then we kind of build, and then we go back to that desolation. This is just an absolute stunning version of The River. Just haunting, kind of perfectly deconstructed in the beginning and at the end. We don't ever push it too hard. We let that sort of just that ache that fills the song, we let it just simmer. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And then after that, we go into Youngstown. And the pairing of The River and Youngstown is absolutely amazing. All of that sort of heartbreak that The River has, it's channeled into like Youngstown and like the absolutely just like Nils Lofgren solo, then which he just destroys the place at the end, in which Nils just, it's like a, Youngstown is like a Nils centerpiece. This is like the full on heavy electric version, but it works. That like sequencing from The River into Youngstown, absolutely perfect. Two just like devastating songs in the middle of CD1. And then what comes next is Murder Incorporated. And while I think Murder Incorporated ultimately works, it's a lot of really good, it's a good performance. It's a good, just a lot of really good energy. It's a little jarring after Youngstown. Almost seems to be like something else needs to drop. After Murder Incorporated, they drop a Badlands, and that works. If it had been The River, then Youngstown, and then we drop into Badlands, I think that momentum just feels a little more natural. Having Murder Incorporated here, just, it works ultimately, the song. I just think it interrupts the flow of the disc. But Badlands is absolutely awesome. We do get sort of a reprise ending. This could have ended the main set. It's a huge, big performance. And then we get Out in the Street. Sounds fantastic. Love this song. I think when I saw Springsteen in Austin, what's that, 15 years ago now? Maybe 20? No, about 15 years ago. I think he opened with like a Badlands into Out in the Street. Or maybe it was close. It was like Badlands something, Out in the Street. That's such a great song, especially early on. Clarence sounds great. Another one. This could end the second set. Everybody's singing along. The vibes are good. Had they just ended the main set here, nobody's going to be sad. The song is huge. And then we get a Born to Run, which in the actual show came after 10th Avenue Freeze Out, but apparently in order to fit it on the CD, it comes here. 10th Avenue Freeze Out would have been better here. 10th Avenue Freeze Out opens up CD2. So we get the Born to Run, which is fantastic. That's the end of CD1. CD1, Absolutely fantastic flow from start to finish. I mean, My Love, Prove It, Two Hearts, Atlantic City, Mansion, River, Youngstown, Murder, Badlands, Out in the Street, Born to Run. That is like a near perfect sequence of music. Like, the only complaints I have, I wish Atlantic City was a little sparser and a little more intense. And that's about it. And Murder Incorporated should have gone somewhere else. A fantastic disc of music. And for the most part, respecting the integrity of the set lists. But then we get 10th Avenue Freeze Out to open up disc 2. And it's great. It sounds amazing. But it's like a 16-minute performance because we have the band introductions right in the middle of it. And those take a while. Bruce is very hyperbolic when he introduces his band. When you're there at the show, it's a good time. And you're there for it. I don't know how often I want to actually listen to it. And had they been able to put this at the end of CD1, which because of time limits, you can't, it would have worked better to end that disc and then have disc 2 open up with Born to Run. But that's not what happens. But we get a 10th Avenue Freeze Out that sounds amazing. The intro, nice and drawn out. You get to just build that energy before we go into like the main first verse. We do the first verse and the chorus. We do the I'm all alone part. Then we go into like the middle section where Bruce starts singing It's All Right by Curtis Mayfield. Crowd starts singing along. Then they start singing Take Me to the River. Crowd starts singing along. Everything stops. Bruce style, you know, he likes to do that. We go back into the Take Me to the River, sing along. We get a Bruce monologue about going to the river and seeing somebody and what's your purpose in life and blah, blah, blah. Then he starts introducing the band. When we get to Patty's part, he starts singing Redheaded Woman. The crowd sings along, introduces Patty. Patty starts singing some of her song, Rumble Doll. She does like a whole verse chorus of Rumble Doll. Then we get to Clarence. Do we have to say his name? No, you don't have to say his name. Then he doesn't, I don't think he does actually introduce Clarence. The audience just chants his name. Then we go into the rest of the song because that's when the big man joins the band. And the second half of the song is this big, drawn out, over the top rock production that's absolutely fantastic. So the song sounds great. The little Mayfield, Al Green quotes are kind of cool. The band introductions just take up a lot of time. And it's a weird start to a disc. If you're like not going straight from disc 1 to disc 2 to put this on and then immediately you're engaged in band introductions, I don't know, it's not a good flow. And then it gets worse. Not really bad, but Land of Hope and Dreams is next, which was the last song, I think, in the first show and the second to last song in the second show. It's an encore number. It feels like you should be going home after this. It feels like this is the way Bruce wants you to go home. So to have it come after 10th Avenue Freeze Out, like a 16.5-minute song with band introductions and then this 10-minute song, I just don't think it works. The flow works for a Bruce Springsteen concert experience. Had this been the last song on the disc, just make it the last song on the disc. Perfect ending. Just a perfect ending. But it also sounds good. It's a great song. It nicely builds. It has the song ending, calm, steady, assuring build to it. Yeah, I just don't know why they rearranged it for this disc. Next comes American Skin, 41 Shots. Great, great song. Slow burning protest number that's absolutely fantastic, absolutely haunting. The saxophone at the end that just kind of soars calmly out of like off into the distance. This is a song that was like in the middle of the main set. Like another thing, I wish they had maybe done more rearranging because I think if you drop this, American Skin, somewhere in the first half and maybe take Born to Run and put it on disc 2, man, that just becomes an even more intense first CD and would honor the integrity of the actual set list. And so it's weird to have like on disc 2, you have this 17-minute 10th Avenue Freeze Out, then you have this 10-minute Land of Hope and Dreams, and you have this 7-minute American Skin, Killed Just for Living in Your American Skin. It's just a weird flow. The first half is just a weird flow. That's my complaint. Or the first half of disc 2. And then, for the first time since 1978, we get Lost in the Flood. And it sounds amazing. It's huge. It's big. It's powerful. Well done. Born in the USA on an acoustic 12-string with slide. kind of deconstructing the melody and making it a little more intense and raw. I don't think it necessarily works. Props for doing this. I like it. I kind of wish it was just like just a full-bodied acoustic and that was it. And maybe you honor the melody a little bit more. I like that you're doing something different. I just don't know if it necessarily works on this one. Then we get Don't Look Back, which was the second song of the first night. And great tracks number, really good rocker. I just don't know why it's buried at the end of CD2. Figure things out, man. Let's honor the integrity of the show. Great song, though. And it works on this disc. I mean, it just fits right in here. Then we get Jungle Land, which is typically awesome. We get Ramrod, really high energy encore number with like a Ramrod reprise at the end just to extend it and, you know, the end of the show energy. And then we should close out the disc 2 with If I Should Fall Behind. A really chill, low-key number. Like Patty gets to sing, Steven gets to sing, Clarence gets to sing, Bruce sings. It stays nice and chill the entire time. Some nice sax. But in both shows, If I Should Fall Behind was followed by Land of Hope and Dreams. So why not just move everything up and drop Land of Hope and Dreams after this? Because that would be a perfect way to end disc 2. So just unsure about that decision. Don't know why that decision was made. But anyways, it's still, disc 2 is still a solid disc of music. And I think for American Skin, Lost in the Flood, Don't Look Back is fantastic. Jungle Land's always fantastic, but there's going to be other versions of that. Those 3 alone make it kind of almost essential, but it's still a good listen, just nowhere near as impactful as I think CD1 is. But I like this listen. It's good. Bruce is in good form. E Street Band sounds amazing as always. The set list is pretty awesome. Yeah. Born to Run. I mean, like, probably the most average, normal thing on here is Born to Run, you know, one of his greatest songs. But it's just like, yeah. But everything else is absolutely fantastic. It's a really, really, really good listen. Where would I rank this among the other 2 that I've already done? I have it at number 2. It's going to be hard to, like, beat that iconic live 1975 to 85. But this is better than the Unplugged thing, which wasn't unplugged. But yeah, I enjoyed this listen, especially disc 1. And the DVD, there are videos. This is out on YouTube if you want to check it out. The performances are intense. Like, this band gets into their performances, and they're obviously knew they were making a DVD, so they're going to ham it up even more. But that's part of the fun of watching Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. So anyways, check that out. But yeah, that's all I got. I think this is a good listen, especially that first disc. That first disc that's some good stuff, especially that river. That river is really good. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that stuff. And that's all I got for today. Peace. Talk to you later.